Hello everyone and welcome to another cooking video. So today we're gonna make some rigatoni with fresh tomato sauce and a pea puree and sauteed with some parmesan and some Arctic thyme. As first step, here we have a pot with water that I'm gonna bring to boiling point. We're gonna take our tomatoes and we're gonna mark them as we're gonna make a small cross sign in the middle, and then we're gonna blanch them in water very quickly. So this is gonna help loose the skin. Once the skin is loose, we can peel it off and we're gonna make a sauce out of it. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want the skin of the tomato in my sauce. It's not very hard to eat, but it's for my personal taste, it's not very good when you feel that smooth, crunchy in your mouth. I don't like it, so I prefer to blanch them first. I'm gonna take a bowl and I'm gonna add some ice to it. Just a few cubes, just to make the water cold. We have our ice and water bath that we are going to use for the tomatoes. The water is boiling, so I'm just going to remove the lid, have it here so I will not mess around, and go with the tomatoes in. 1 and 2. And at this point you need to calculate around 30 to 40 seconds, not more than that. Just give them a gentle flip, in the water. They don't need very much cooking. You don't need to cook them in the water. You need to blanch them, you need to help them easen up the skin, so it's going to be easier for you to remove it. We're going to use this pot with water for all our preparations, so it's going to be used for the tomatoes, it's going to be used for the peas, and eventually it's going to be used for the rigatoni. Now, 40 seconds has passed, so I'm just going to take the tomatoes out. So as you can see, over here you already have a little bit of loose skin. You see how easy it is to peel it off? So we're just gonna put it in cold water just to stop the cooking. If you don't do this, your tomato is gonna get very mushy and you don't want that. So we just put it in a cold tub. Now, I'm gonna take the peas. Over here I have, I would say, around 100 grams of green peas. They're frozen. You can use the fresh peas when they are in season, but for this recipe I'm just gonna use frozen peas. First thing, just gonna drop them in the water. And you want to boil them for about 15 to maximum 20 seconds, not more than that. So in the meantime, I'm going to take the tomatoes out because they are quite cold. As you can see, the skin is just peeling off. Like, it's super easy. Just give a quick stir to the peas. The water is boiling, but we added frozen peas, so that just plunged down the temperature. So right now we're going to wait until it comes back to boiling point. And then we can just remove them. Look at that. Do it with your hands, There you go. We're gonna remove the central part of the tomato. This is the hardest part, so we don't want this one in our mouth. The peas are boiling, so I'm just gonna take them and put them in cold water. So the reason why I'm putting the peas in cold water right now is to stop the cooking process, which eventually will turn them into brown peas. So we just want to keep this very vivid, this very nice, Eastery, springly green color. So this is a very, very good recipe. It's a vegetarian recipe that you can do whenever you feel in a rush or whenever you want to have even a fancy dinner. It's very tasty. We're gonna wait for the water to get to boiling point again, which is gonna take just a few seconds. We're gonna add some salt in it. For this recipe, right now I'm using the Tagliatelle pasta, which is a local brand here in Iceland, and this pasta is imported from Italy, but the guy who is importing it is a very big food lover. And he's just trying to do his best to import some Italian products here in Iceland. I will use around 60 to 80 grams. I want to have a small portion, I'm not very hungry today, and it's gonna be for one person, so I'll just add what in my opinion is roughly around 80 grams. There you go, like that. This pasta is gonna take around 10 to 12 minutes to cook. So in the meantime, we're gonna make the sauce. Some oil in it, just a touch, bringing up to temperature. In the meantime, I'm going to cut the tomatoes in half. and then in half again. And then just take out all the seeds. Now, you can leave the seeds inside, there's no problem, they're very delicious. But for my personal taste, I just prefer to use the skins. And you can use, the leftovers for a soup or just make a salad out of it. You can do lots of things. So, I'm just taking the outside part of it. There you go. The oil is getting to temperature. Now we're just gonna chop the tomatoes. Just small cubes is fine. You don't want to chop them in a precise way or wherever feels comfortable. Just cutting them in cubes right now. Now, very important thing. You have hot oil on the pan, fire underneath. Before you put the tomatoes that contain water, you need to stop the flame. Because the water is going to react with the oil, it's going to explode, and if there is a flame, it's very dangerous. Be careful. So you're going to put this on the side. Just give them a little mix. And then add some pasta water. There are some peas in it, but that's fine. Pasta water, bit of salt, lime thyme. Oh, look at that. Now, we're gonna take the peas that are cold and pretty much al dente right now. So they are cooked, but not very much. And we're gonna drain them out. Just do it over the sink. Now, you see? The color of the peas is still perfect as new. They almost look raw, but trust me, they are cooked. Now, fire again. I'm gonna take a mixing bowl or a mixing container. Just add all the peas inside. Peas are done. I'm gonna add a little bit of the pasta water just to help blending it. There you go. Right now I'm just gonna go ahead and blend it. I'll add a little bit of salt and a little more pasta water. Put some lime thyme inside, like this. Reduce the fire for the tomato sauce. So the tomato sauce right now, as it is, as you can see, it's a bit runny, but that's fine. All that liquid is gonna evaporate or is gonna be absorbed by the rigatoni. We're gonna lower down the heat a little bit and just let it slowly cook. But it's a very quick recipe, the sauce is ready, this sauce is ready, the pasta is almost done. So it's just pum 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 and you have all together. So it's, easy peasy recipe. When you're in a rush, just fuck that long recipes that, require hours. Just quick, get the job done, eat, go ahead with your day. Right, at this point I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil. Just a drizzle. The pea puree is still quite chunky inside. Actually, there's one thing that I forgot. To give it a good taste, to see if it's good in salt. Perfect. And we're just gonna put all the pea puree inside. Now, having a really silky pea puree is your goal. You don't want to have a chunky one, that's just gonna ruin the recipe. Once you put it inside, just start mixing it around. We still have a little bit of water there, that's no problem. Now this job over here is going to require a little bit of patience, but eventually the end result is going to be fantastic. Now, at the end of the process, you're going to be left with this stuff over here. It might look a bit weird, but just don't throw it away. You can use it for soups, you can use it for sauce. You can use it basically for whatever you want, even for desserts. Stop the fire. There you go. Move all the pasta, just take it out. Alright, now just cook it a little bit. Let it there, let it stay. It's gonna take around like 1 minute to finish cooking. Now, whenever you are cooking a pasta, whatever kind of pasta that might be, I would highly suggest or recommend you to cook it 90% in the water and then the rest in the sauce. That will help the pasta just absorb all the flavors of your sauce, and it's just gonna be a fantastic end result. I'm gonna give it a mix here. Oh, look at that. At this point, we're gonna take a grater and add some parmesan on top. Give it a good mix and stop it. Just a little bit more fresh lime thyme. Take a little bit of this sauce, almost like it's a bed or a lake of grain puree. And right now you take your rigatoni, a last drizzle of parmigiano, some fresh lime thyme, a little bit of raw olive oil, and that's it, my friends. This is my rigatoni with fresh tomato sauce and pea puree. Enjoy!